Yeah, feel me? You feel me? No cash on me.
Back to season 3. Like we're really in a row. We've really been so consistent this year, and I'm so glad. This is look. This is gonna be this. Technically, it's Mother's Day, so I had to do something different. I had to bring out a mom, entrepreneur, creative, literally everything, and I'm here with.
I am Shelly Nicole. I am a serial entrepreneur, owner of the Ill Group, and I'm also head of production for Collective Gallery. I am co-owner of Black Vendor Expo. So I do a good amount of things. And I'm a
Yeah.
mom.
Yes, out of
I'm a mom.
everything, a mom. Yes, a new mom added
Yes,
too.
yes.
Oh my God. So let's start from the beginning,
Okay.
from how you got into this industry. You did mention earlier that you used to work at AT&T while you
Yes.
had a show.
Yeah.
So how was the transfer to that, and what made you be like, okay,
So I've always kind of like been into like media and stuff like that. I went to Hampton University. My degree was in broadcast journalism with a minor in leadership studies. But even before that, like in high school, I went to Grady. And so like the magnet was like communication. So I was like the producer of the sports show. Like I used to do like guys, like highlight tapes for them, like football players, like highlight tapes for them. I've always just been into like that world. And then everyone around me were like rappers or party promoters or models, or like everyone around me was so creative. So it was just natural to kind of go that direction. And then when I went to Hampton, and like I would come back home and everyone would be kind of like into their own thing. And then like one of my really good friends, Olu, who is Johnny Venus of Earth Gang, like I've known him since like 6th grade. Like he's one of my oldest friends. So he went to Hampton too, and so we would just like come home, and then they would be like doing like their whole grind with Earth Gang and stuff. So I would be with them and like recording them on my phone and like trying to like push them. And like when Tumblr was hot, I would like post stuff on Tumblr.
yeah,
And then I like met Chilio, and then I met Cam, but like Cam Kirk, but Cam like worked at like DCLR. So like everyone I knew, we were just all like in the grind, but everyone was very much like not where they are now, and not
Yeah.
the superstar phenoms that they are, but they always had the vision. I always knew it.
Yeah.
So it was just always inspiring, and I always was like the person that either like to ideate with them or kind of like just help them like do what they needed to do to kind of get it going. So that's kind of how I got my start. And then with my show, The Ill Group, I had a guy I was dating for a long time, and he ended up passing away. And so I was very much like just unmotivated and not really doing anything. And so I used to always call myself, well, I do call myself God's favorite homegirl. That's my another one of my brands that I have. But it was just a token that I like, a saying I coined for myself. And it was just like, well, if you're God's favorite homegirl, you can't be sad this whole time. You have to really use your pain for some type of like passion and really like push yourself. So I had this idea of starting the Illimitable Table. That was like the first name that I had for it. And so it was my friend Phil the God. He was like this dope editor, dope like video director, producer. Like he was just fire. Mm-hmm. And so I met him, and he just helped me kind of like really hone in on my idea for the show. And he was like, well, the Illimitable is like really hard for people to say, and they're like, you should just call it the ill table. And I was like, I love that, so good. And I always had the vision for like that being like a platform for me to be able to do what I'm doing now, and kind of be like a home for like just all of my services and all the different things I like to do. So Ill Table, Ill Group. I worked at AT&T. That was like my first job out of college. And I'm not going to call it a Ponzi scheme, what it was, but it was very much not. It was weird. They shut down the whole part of that AT&T thing. Like, yeah. But it was my first corporate job, and I made pretty good money. So I just used that money to party and produce.
Of course.
And so I had the Ill Group. I had the Ill Table, and I just interviewed my friends like Earth Gang, Cam Kirk, Miriam Mariba, Sky, Set by Sky. Who else? My friend Keisha Brooks. She's like this big time like music sync person now out in LA. Who else? DJ Pretty Boy Tank. I manage him now. I just interviewed my friends.
Yeah.
And that's just like people that I knew were gonna blow up and be popping, and they just so happened to blow up and be really, really popping.
Yeah.
So that's really like how it started. And from there, I kind of got out of it, and I just had all these different opportunities. I was the assistant to the dream. So once I got that job, it kind of just slowed kind of like that part of my life down because I was focused completely on that. So after I kind of transitioned out of that job is when I started getting into like producing and stuff like that. So I got to produce the Super Bowl live with DJ Holiday and friends. So like that was like my big show that I produced. So once I did that, I was like, okay, very nervous, very nerve-wracking, but I did it. And I was like, okay, I love this. I love the feeling. I love being able to go from A to Z and see like a plan go from you know, like, yeah, like grow and really do that. So that's really how I really got started, was more so like just having friends of like-mindedness and like feeling each other and everyone kind of like very much going like to each other and not looking up. You know how they say like reach to your sides? Like that's very much what we did. And I think that that was just super key for everyone kind of like finding their way.
No, definitely. I feel like once you said that, I'm like, that's literally what shaking the culture is. Instead of trying to, you know, reach for the little babies and stuff like that, I'm like, yo, my homeboy is hard as hell. Like, let me put you on, you know?
Exactly.
And like, not even just like, because we have, do you know Marco the shooter?
Yes.
We've interviewed him, you know? So it's like, it's pretty dope. Like you said, just literally reach to the people right next to you, because you don't know, especially if you're helping them, pushing them. Yo, they're gonna blow anytime soon. So are those interviews out still?
You can go to YouTube. I feel like they're either on my like personal YouTube. You can definitely find them. They're definitely out there. I think I just went on like my YouTube and I was like, oh, they're still here. They're definitely still out there. They are out there. The first one was like with Earth Gang, and it was so funny because like the editor I had, it was like during some like weather thing. So I ended up having to edit the show by myself. Like I edited it myself, and I had forgot that I knew how to edit kind of. And I put that first show together. And once I did the first show, I was like, oh, okay, I know what I'm doing. Like I can do it. Yeah, they're still out there. They're definitely out in the universe. Every now and then I think about, oh, I should bring the L table back. And then I'm like, oh, no, I don't want to.
Really?
So yeah, every now and then my friends will pump me up and be like, you should do it.
Yeah.
You should do it. And I'm like, So I have like a few ideas of like ways to like kind of do that, kind of not. I feel like it was something that was done and like really helped like maximize and push me and help me meet like a lot of different people and kind of do what I do now. But it's just so much going on now, like in that whole world. So I do always think like, damn, if you just would have just kept going a little bit longer, you would have been like a pioneer of it, because literally no one was really doing that. Like that wasn't a thing. Like I literally was like, I want to be a talk show host, like Oprah. Like this is what I'm gonna do. Like so that's what it was. It's like me and my friend Asia. Shout out to my friend Asia. She lives in DC now, and she's from DC, but she used to live here. She went to Clark, and we used to just like come up with all these creative ideas, and Robbie come up with all these creative ideas, and then we would just do it, because like our parents are basically like funding our lives, so it's like we're just gonna use our money to do all the fun things we want to do. So like you can definitely find them for sure. They're definitely out there.
That's dope. That's very dope. Dang. So maybe, you know, what if you, because you say you wanted to be a talk show host, but you do she was the host for Cam Kirk's the
conference, the Yesterday Summer Out conference. Yes.
Would you ever want her to kind of
Anissa? Yes. It's so funny that you say that, Anissa, my little baby Anissa. So it's so funny. Before I was like literally like, I don't want to do the ill table at all. She was literally the person in my head that I was like, I'm going to recreate the ill table and I'm going to have her host it. I don't even know if I ever told her that, but that was literally like a thing I probably talked to like two people. Like, I think Anissa would be a great person. She's
amazing.
She's amazing. I can have her do it. Like, that was actually a whole thing in my head. So that's funny that you said that. So I'm still not opposed to it, but I know she has like really dope ideas herself that I want to help her like cultivate and bring to life. So I'm not opposed to it, but that was definitely a thing at one point. I definitely thought about her for sure.
That is dope. Yeah, because I was like, I see her and just her personality. Literally in front of the mic, behind the mic, whatever she is. I'm like, yo, when I saw her, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, she's amazing.
You are amazing. She kind of reminds me of you.
Oh,
you get that? Like, like, are y'all related?
Like, we've known each other for so long at this point. So, like, in her phone, she's like mini me, and we like, no. I love her. She's a little sis. Shout out to Anissa, who is Anissa Bernay. Look her up.
Right? She's amazing. If you're in Atlanta, I feel like you
know who she is. Yeah, for sure.
You know who she is. So facts. So going through your journey and stuff like that, what do you feel like was your biggest like, oh shit, this just got real?
I would say Super Bowl live. Like, Holiday has always been like a very much like encouraging person. He's always like, Shelly, you can do it, you can do it. And so he just called me one day and was like, I got this opportunity to do this show for Super Bowl. And I'm like, Super Bowl? Like, what are you talking about? He was like, yeah, like, me and JD got an opportunity to do this Super Bowl and I need your help. And I'm like, okay. And so he's like, I'm gonna send you all the artists. Like, we just need to tap in with them and just go from there. And so I think like once he said that, I was like, oh snap. And then I went to the press conference and then we did the practice at Southwest DeKalb with the drum line and the dancers. And I was like, okay. And then I got the credentials and it was like Super Bowl. Then I'm like, okay, this is getting real. Then we went to Centennial Park. And then when we got there the day of, and I really didn't get a chance to kind of like I definitely wasn't present because it was going so fast.
Oh,
So it was so many artists and security and, you know, the who's who or who's not. And, you know, like it was so much going on and we were on a time constraint, but then we weren't on a time constraint because they really enjoyed the show. So they let us just rock out. And so I think like the next day, like seeing it on the news and hearing like it was 30,000 people in the crowd and, just hearing all these like stats and like all this stuff and then like posting it and then like getting all the feedback and then it being kind of like, oh, okay, like this is real. So I feel like that was definitely one of the things. I think working like the first phase of Trap Museum and like sleeping in Trap Museum and like really like being in the dirty, the grind of the Trap Museum and Motel 21 and like those big activations like that. I would say those things are probably it, but I still don't feel like, I feel like it's so much to be done and it's so many people that I found out about every day that do these things and do amazing things. So it's always like, definitely don't feel like I'm there yet, but I think that I've done some pretty cool things, you know?
have.
But I think I just think about if knowing what I know now, in that mindset and doing it then, I would have probably done it a little bit differently. So I always just think about that and just kind of like taking my time and being very mindful of the jobs that I accept. But I would say the Super Bowl was pretty epic.
Definitely.
Pretty epic.
I remember I was like, oh my God, the Super Bowl's here. And I was not doing any of this. I was just like, oh my God, it's this artist, that artist. So I could just imagine being the other side of it.
Crazy.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
You mentioned, doing everything, that people don't see and stuff like that. The Black exhibit.
Black Vendor Expo.
Is coming June 8th?
So we have one coming June 8th. That is with the HBCU minor, like baseball. So that's with them. But then we have our like anniversary coming up. So that's coming. So stay tuned. That'll be in July. So the Black Vendor Expo is something that started during COVID. And so good friends of mine, Jasmine and Tay, they're sisters. Very creative, very innovative. Tay is also a mom. She has a super dope brand called Mommy Mafia. So we just naturally knew each other. Jasmine has a brand called Faith-Based Hustlers. So we always used to like talk about, and we still are going to collab, but we just very cool, like down to earth girls. So we just naturally like connected to each other. And so they had a pop-up shop during COVID. And it was basically just to give all these Black businesses opportunity to be in the faces of other people. And so I attended that. Well, not attended. I became a vendor for that. And it was so dope. So I was like, well, I want to do one for my birthday. And so I didn't think anything of it. Like I have this big birthday thing called like Shell Week. So it was just like a part of Shell Week. But I never thought like really, I like posted the Eventbrite and then I went and looked and I was like, wait, it's like 75 vendors have signed up. Like I didn't even account for 75 businesses. Like I never accounted for that. And so I called them and I'm like, y'all, what am I going to do? Like I have to get a tent now. Like what am I going to do? So I did that. And after that we were kind of like, okay, well, let's just I'll come on and be the third person. So it was basically their idea, and with like them just seeing the vision and kind of like valuing what I have to bring to the table, we just cultivated, the business. And so it's been going on for about 3 years now. And it's just growing. We see over 80 Black businesses.
amazing.
We have a lot of foot traffic, different businesses. And so it's been really, really cool. So we're excited this year to have like a new location and really just like some super duper dope opportunities. So yeah, Black Vendor Expo is our little baby, and we all have like our own other things going on. Like me and Tay are definitely moms. Tay is like, her son is like the next like LeBron, so she's always like at games and stuff like that. So it's just funny, like us all working together. But I think we all have a common goal, and we all like have the same values, family, loyalty, things like that. So it's a great like partnership to have. So it's super cool.
No, awesome. So you kept, you're a new mom.
Yes.
So how do you make time and balance everything? You're very busy. Like
Yes.
we have yet to even tap into you working with like Camp Kirk and
yes.
the foundation.
Yes.
Like there's just so many things.
Yes.
So how do you, for like the new moms or entrepreneurs or want to be entrepreneurs, what's one advice you wish you would have gotten?
I think that I think that having a child like in my early 30s was like the best thing possible. Like I can't imagine being able to have been here. Not saying it's not possible, but for me personally, I just can't imagine being a mom like in my 20s trying to do the grind. Like I just don't see it, because now in my 30s I'm still like, oh my God, what's going on? What's today? Like what's going on? So I would say honestly, it's just about like saying no, like knowing your capacity. I think that, again, like I have worked with a lot of different people. I work with a lot of men. I work with like a lot of people that don't value you. So I think it's about like finding your lane and like finding and knowing like in work, you are supposed to be valued. In work, you are supposed to be heard. In work, or, whatever it is you're doing, you're supposed to feel like you're supposed to be there. And so I think that working with Cam, who's also my friend, so that's always going to be like a thing, but he's someone that I respect. Literally from the time I met Cam, before he had his camera, everything he said he was going to do, he's done. So it's very inspirational. He's always like ahead of the game and just ahead of the curve. And he also allows everyone around him to kind of like do what they do. Like if you say that's your job and you're good at it, he allows you to do that. So only when you start maybe like making little fuck ups or whatever, that he'll like be like, all right, now let's reel it back in. But for the most part, it's just like it's the perfect job. I tell him once a week, like, you're my favorite boss that I ever had. I love you, Cam. Like, I love it here. So he's very, very helpful, very reasonable. He has a great relationship with his mom and his parents, so he kind of gets it. And then like I'm basically like, Ari is the VP, and she's a lawyer, so she's not always in the office, but I'm like the only girl in there with them, and I have a kid, so it's just like they don't really know. It's like I gotta go to my kid. They're like, that makes sense. Like, I'm like not arguing with them about what I have to do. So I think that there's like a lot of respect there with that. And then I think sometimes you just have to just say no. Like I'm definitely not just like outside. I'm not at all the mixers. I'm always telling people like, please still invite me. Like, don't forget me. Like, I may not show up, but please. Like,
it's just
please keep me on the invite list. So
always.
I think that's like important. I think that if you want to stay, like sometimes you do have to get outside, and you can't, like people will forget. Like people definitely will forget. So I would say like time management, and I always say like time is like every second counts, every minute counts. So like my planner is my baby, and like from the first minute that I'm accounting for everything, and then sometimes I'm not, so I think that that's just important, is like knowing like some days are not going to be great. Some days are just not going to go how you anticipate them to go, and not really like making a big deal out of it too. And then like also I have a son, so he's a little baby, so he don't care about that. Like he's still like, Mama, I'm still hungry. I need to take a bath. I pooped in my diaper. I need you to change me. Like, and my boyfriend's a big, huge help, but like my son is like, he's obsessed with me as I'm obsessed with him. So we're obsessed with each other. So it's cute. Like, Mom, no, I want you to do it. So I think that it's just more so knowing like he's the priority. Like I can't not make him a priority. So it's like either the people that I work with understand that, or we just don't work. And I have like an amazing village, like my mom, his other grandma, friends, like family, like really even Anissa. Like the other day I needed to get dressed to do something, and Anissa just came over and sat with him the whole time I got dressed. And I was like, thank you so much. Thank you. So yeah, just little things like that. Like I think it's just important to ask for help. And just know some days it's just not gonna be the best day.
No, honestly, what do you think is like the hardest part about being a mom? Because okay, first of all, I'm Latina. I feel like everybody knows that now, whatever.
Yeah.
My mom right now, she's like, so when are you going to get married? I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you mean I'm still in my 20s?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
good.
wait.
And then
Yeah,
also,
wait.
everybody's always like, my older cousins are like, no, wait.
Wait.
You know, wait until you like,
until you're,
like,
yeah,
your
get out of
30s,
your
whatever.
20s. Get out of your 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't do it.
So, what do you think though? You wish you're like, oh shit, somebody should have told me that. Somebody should have put this in parentheses in bold letters in a book or something.
I feel like a lot of my friends had kids. Like my best friend has 4 kids under 5. So she has, yeah. So I kind of like saw firsthand. Another one of my good friends, she has 2 kids. One just turned 9 this week. We were just at a sleepover yesterday. And then she has like a 2-year-old. And then like all of my like I've been around like my friends with kids. So I kind of like saw what was up. Like
Okay.
I feel like you don't really know until you're in it too. Like it's not really something to like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can kind of give advice. It's like they're the priority unless you're like a deadbeat. But like if you're not a deadbeat, like your kids are your priority. Like that's what comes first. So I think that may be like the first thing. Like you don't really like control your life all the way. Like they kind of run your life.
Yeah.
But not. I mean, yeah. Like I don't know. I feel like. Yeah, no, you really can't be like until you're in it. It's kind of like, oh, okay,
yeah.
This is it. Okay.
That's what I signed up for.
Now.
Okay.
Yeah, like, we here now.
Thanks. So, how was the 9 months? You know, going into labor. What's one like? I feel like my friend, she just had a baby, and she's like, nobody told me about this.
Okay.
You know?
So it's so funny because like my pregnancy was like a breeze. Like I was chilling. Like it was very calm. Everyone was super nice to me. Everyone was super helpful to me. Like it was cool. Like nothing was wrong. And then like I remember having that first contraction and I was like dying laughing. And my boyfriend was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I was like, this shit is about to get real. Like this is some real shit. Like, oh my God. Like, and I have a low tolerance for pain. So, and it's so funny because the whole time I was like, I'm going to be natural. Like, I'm going to go natural. Like, I don't care what I say. Like, let me just like, and as soon as I got to, I was like, where is the medicine? Like, where is it? Like,
epidural.
dose me up. Like, dose me up right now because never in my life. So that, I say, like, that's one of the things that, like, you definitely don't know that until you, like, in it. No, it does not feel like a cramp. No, it's not a more intense cramp. It's something different. Like, a contraction is something different. Like, to know that women, like, had babies, had multiple 10, 12, 15
Not the 15
kids naturally, like, knowing that was, like, what they were feeling, I'm just always just like mind blown because it's just like, that shit hurt. That shit hurt. Like that ain't no hoe. I'm telling you, like that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like I would definitely say labor is not like, labor is not something that I think you can prepare for. But I didn't take a Lamaze class and stuff like that, so I can't say for sure. But like, I mean, I didn't even have a bad delivery, honestly. But I'm like. That part, I was like, ooh. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Like,
so do you want more kids?
That's so funny. I won't say no because then I might have 5 kids by saying no. But
if maybe.
Yeah, like I'm not opposed to it, but am I good? Would I be good if I did it? For sure, yes. Yes, I feel like check, bucket list, baby, check. Like, you know, but I do like see siblings and I think about me and my sister and I'm like, oh, that's nice. Like, or I see my friends that like that don't have siblings and like they're always like, you need to have another baby. Like you see how I'm having to take care of my mom. Like you see how I'm with my parents. So when I think about like the long term and like community and family and stuff like that, I'm like, yes, but I'm straight. Like I'm good. Just like on some like, yeah, I'm just always fascinated by people that have multiple kids. Like, I'm just always fascinated. Like, wow.
You did that.
You did this. You're doing it again. Wow. Okay. So, I mean, I'm sure I have another kid, but, like, not this year.
Yeah.
Not next year.
Not anytime soon for sure.
Nah.
But, you know, definitely.
Yeah.
Did you feel like, a lot of people talk about it, but I feel like they don't emphasize the whole mental health, you know, after it. Did you ever go through, like, depression or anything like that?
But it's only because I know, like, I think the whole time I was just like, I understand how it could happen. I didn't personally experience it, but I understand like how it could happen. But like I always vowed, like that was like me and my mom like made a vow. I was like, I'm gonna take a shower every day. Like I'm gonna make sure I take a shower every day because I kept like leading up to my pregnancy. I kept seeing like all these like reels and like memes, like I haven't bathed off, and I'm like, no, that's not right. That's not right. So like that was like a vow I made to myself, was like making sure I took a shower every day. Or like just having like a breather to myself, or like I had like a lot of like, so I'm like community and village is very important. Like your partner is very important. Like I really do salute like single moms or single dads that literally have no help, or like people that live here that's family is like out of the way, or people whose parents just won't watch their kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I really do feel for it, because when you're a parent, the responsibility, like that's your sole responsibility. Like that's, you are responsible for this human. And so like, you really don't have time to think about yourself or think about other things. So I didn't experience postpartum, but I was very cognitive and aware of like what was going on. Like I need to go for a walk, or like even when I first started working out, it was like I need to start working out, or just like really like not making myself feel guilty for certain things. Like I went to like on my friends like trip to Palm Springs, and I felt so bad, and I was like crying, and everybody was like, it's okay. Like, so I think just like a lot of people will mom shame you too. Like it's a lot of mom shaming out here. And so like being in it now is just so funny. Like when you think about maybe some things that you said when you didn't have kids, about like how you would do your kids, like what you would do, and it's like you really don't know until you're in it. And kids are so crazy that, you know, it's like you just don't know. So I think I didn't really experience it because, one, I had like such a soundboard around me and such support, but also just for myself, I am like a very aware person and very like glass half full, and kind of like not a pity party type of person. Like that's never really been my style for the most part. Like I like accountability, I like things like that. So not really, but I totally understand. I do understand how people can get, like I totally get it. But it just wasn't thankfully it's not something I experienced, but I totally get it for sure.
No, definitely. You had mentioned the whole people shame other people, but it's just like, but if it was you though, and you were taking that time, you would be like, oh, fuck that other person. It's just like, well, it's not my fault. You know, you should. I feel like if a mom is happy, your child is happier.
Absolutely.
And I definitely, I was like, damn, I'm like, I want to be like that. Just seeing people, and like on your social media, you're always like literally thinking your whole village. And I'm like, no, honestly, but
the bomb.
They literally love your kid like it's theirs. I'm like, I love that. And I'm like, that's I feel like that's rare. And so hard to find. You know,
I think that I just have always had like a good group of people around me, and then for those that weren't, I just had to get the hell away from them. But like for the most part, like just really been a good judge of character. I feel like as you grow, you attract what you need around you, or what you are. And so I think that like me just trying to always be like a good person, or be like supportive, or be reliable, or be there for other people, I think like in return I've been able to kind of like cultivate those same relationships. So it's been amazing.
No, I bet. Who do you feel like your kid acts more like? Does he have your attitude? That
It's so funny because I was just asking his dad that, because he's like very silly, but I'm like very, very, very silly. And his dad is like silly, but he's really serious too. So I think he acts like both of us, but like I'm super silly. So it's just like, even if he's like crying, I'm like, what are you crying for? Like, so it's just like everything's a joke. So I think he acts like me, but I think he has a lot of his own personality. Like he's very like, I don't like that. Like right now I have to put him on milk, like no more formula or anything like that. Tell him to drink regular milk. He doesn't like it. So he like continues to throw his sippy cup like far away from him. Like he gets so mad. I've tried different cups, different types of milk, making little milks. Like he does not like it, and he's very like adamant about that. So I feel like he has his own kind of personality, but he's super silly. Like, and I thought he was gonna be serious, because for the longest he just wouldn't like crack a smile or anything. But like now he is the silliest baby. So I would say he probably gets a lot of silliness from me, and just like, because I'm like, let's just have a good time. Like, and our house is like super chill. Like we don't like, it's super like, it's super chill. But I feel like he has his own personality.
Yeah. So what would you want? Is there like something you would want to, I guess, give your son advice for it, you know? Like, so let's say, like, in 10 years, he's
Yeah.
looking back at this. What's one thing you would want to let
So
him
he'll
know?
be 10. I would want him just to know, like, do you. Like, I want him to always, whatever he likes, whatever it is, like, it's cool. Like, whatever it is, whether that's architecture or computers or basketball. I don't want him to be a rapper. But if he wants to be a rapper, like, I want him to just know, like, whatever it is, like, it's cool. And I'm going to always keep it real with you. So if you want to be a rapper, you have to lay them bars. And if they whack, I'm going to tell you.
You know.
You know what I'm saying? But I think, yeah, I just want him, like, to be a leader and to be himself at all times and not feel, like, pressure. Like, I think that that's, like, what's important. And I think that if he continues to, like, be encouraged at home and, like, be encouraged by his family, be encouraged by his friends, and not even friends, like your family and like your aunts, your uncles, like your cousins, your mom, your dad, your grandparents, and like just be very like confident. Like I just want to make sure that he's always confident in whatever decision he makes, and just being like an accountable like man. Like it's very important that he like, you know, be a real man. So I think that's what I always instill in him is like to be honest, be true, and like do what you say you're gonna do, whatever that is.
Yeah. I definitely feel like that. We like that kind of this
Yes,
generation. She said
yes.
yes, very much.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Like if you being trifling, I'm gonna tell you being trifling. If
Yeah.
she being trifling, I'm gonna tell you she being trifling. You know what I'm saying?
Even
like
if she's crying.
yeah, like
Post.
yeah. And I was like, if she crying, she lying. Yeah, no, but like I definitely just like I feel like my son knows like my mama is the realest. Like I'm the realest person on your team. Like ain't no sugarcoating, ain't no he might like my mama is crazy, but he can already know I got your back. Like so that's one of the things that I think is like why I'm so happy to have a son and stuff, because I just think about my interaction with like all my guy friends and how they always be like, you are so crazy, Shelly. I'm like, but I'm being real, you know? So I'm looking forward to like having those type of conversations and that type of relationship with him about everything, career, personal, lifestyle, you know, like things like that.
Yeah, you're such an amazing mom.
Thank you.
I'm just like just listening to you talk, and I'm like, wow, your son is so blessed.
Thank you.
To have you and your whole village.
Thank you.
I feel like a lot of moms don't think like that.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I think, but it can be scary too. Like that's why I take like a lot of breaks off of social media. Like I won't watch like a lot of news. Like I kind of have to like just kind of live in some sort of bubble a little bit. Because when you look at the news and stuff, it can be scary and you kind of don't want your kid to like live, you know? So I always think about like my friends whose parents were always there, like always at the field trip or always at the outing. And I'm like, I get it now. Like, cause if something go down, I'm just going to scoop mine up and we out, you know? So, I think that is like probably a thing too, is like just being overprotective and not really knowing like what that fine line is. So I do like take breaks from like social media, or like really engaging in like some of the stuff, because it can like really traumatize and kind of like create this sense in you that you can't, like a sense of like being jailed and not really feeling free because of like everything bad that's happening in the world. But you just have to like always remember like to stay covered, and like I am God's favorite homegirl and he is God's favorite homeboy, and God has us covered, and we just have to continue to like live our truth and like just pray for God's protection.
Yeah. No, definitely. Do you have merch for that?
So I do have merch for God's favorite homegirl. They're available online, but I mean right now what I always wanted it to be was an app and like more of like a hub, like a subscription hub for women and things like that. So that's currently, and like what my goal for this year with the brand is to really start doing like more meetups and more like of the intentionality of it, because it was just like merch gear, but now I have like a lot of programming I want to do and things like that. So that's really where I'm at with the God's Favorite Homegirl brand.
That's amazing. So you just named like 1,000 jobs.
Yes.
The last one I want to bring up.
Okay.
Strategy and operations at Camp Kirk.
Yeah, so that was when I first got there, and then after maternity leave, I was promoted to head of production, and then I'm the president of Cam's Foundation. So it's super cool. It's super fun job. I basically just oversee any type of like events that we have or any clients that we have when it comes to the collective gallery side of like photo shoots, video shoots, campaigns, anything like that. It's very fun. It's like what I'm good at, what I enjoy. So it's good to like do it all the time.
Yeah.
And then like have the money and have the budget to do it.
Yeah.
It's even better. And then, like I said, Cam is like dope. Like Cam is fire.
amazing.
Like everyone knows, like I stand Cam Kirk. Like Cam Kirk Enterprises is like I always be like, you Diddy, like we were Diddy over here. Like,
Diddy.
that's how it was right before Bad Boy blew up. So
Yeah.
I really enjoy everything we're doing over there. And it's just getting better and better, and people are really like seeing like our value. So it's a great team to be a part of, and we all understand each other. When we don't understand each other, we all have, you know, like it's just a lot of respect in that workplace and in that workspace. So I really enjoyed that. Like I always tell him, like this is the best job I ever had. Like if I had to do it all over again to know that I would be here, I would do it. So it's like, it's worth that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. How was it working with Halle Berry, Lotto, Cardi B?
Yeah.
You have like your credits.
Yeah.
You've worked with everybody.
Yeah, the production credits have gotten, thankfully with Collective Gallery, it's been cool. Everyone, it's always just funny when you meet like the people that you love or like, oh, they're really like that. Everyone was amazing. Like, Lotto's always super nice. Our artist, Girl Davis, has worked with her a lot. I feel like it's always good to see people and meet people and they're like how you envision them to be. Like, I freaking love Halle Berry. Like, Babs is like Dorothy Dandridge. Like, I love Halle Berry. So I was literally like in a daze. Like, it was just like a cloud over me because she's literally like that beautiful in person and she's that gracious and she's that kind and she's that professional. So it was amazing. Cardi was not, like Cardi was very nice and everyone was very nice. So it's always good to like meet good people and they have like good energy and you kind of just understand like, oh, this is why you're successful because you're a nice person and you get your money, So it was amazing.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's amazing because I'm like Cardi B, she has 2 kids, and it's just like, that's insane. People still come at her. I'm like, can you not? Yeah,
She's
like
mom.
she has other things to do.
Yes, leave her alone, please.
Exactly.
I love Cardi.
No, honestly. So how can we support anything you got going on, or where can we follow you?
Yes, you can follow me at Shelly Nicole on IG. I am always here for hire. I love event producing and things like that. So I think like the support is just like making sure you're tapping in with, what I have going on, my company, The Ill Group. I manage an illustrator, Jessica Jones. I'm a makeup artist, Ashley Gray, DJ Pretty Boy Tank. And then I'm not forgetting someone. Bartender, Riggs. Riggs, don't kill me. I literally just talked to you. So Riggs. And then designer Stephanie Gordell. So just making sure to tap in with my businesses there. And then, like all the programming that we have coming for Collective Gallery, Cam Kirk Foundation, and all those different things, events, activations, all that stuff. I'm your girl.
No, facts. Thank you so much
Thank
for taking
you.
time out of your day. Even though,
thank you.
Look, it was hard.
No, we got it together.
We got it. We got
I'm telling
it.
you, the village gonna help me out every time.
Facts. So shout outs to them. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Look, I honestly can't wait to see
Shaking the culture.
Look, if there's no other way to get it, have to. Thank you. Until next time, guys. Bye.
Now I top the building, yeah. Feel me? You feel me? No cash on me. Swipe for a milli, yeah. Feel me? You feel me? Walk in the door. Shake up.